And welcome back to Who Would Win. Today's Who Would Win comes to us from XV Stories, who asked the question, who win a fight, Luffy or Plastic Man? Now, Luffy obviously is, or Luffy, depending on, I think it's Luffy, is the lead of One Piece. Now, I'm not a big One Piece fan, honestly. I mean, there's stuff about One Piece I like Devil Fruits, I like the, Hull Hockey thing, but I've never been big in the series. There's a couple characters I like, but, yeah. But Luffy is the main character, and, he is, as the main character, he's got the main character plot syndrome of being exceptionally strong. Now, besides being good at hand-to-hand combat, being, highly resistant to pain, even before getting his Devil Fruit, just being, pretty strong, he also has access to Haki and Devil Fruits. His Haki has access to all three of them. There is Armament Haki, which basically allows him to harden his body into an armor. This allows him not only to hit with a greater striking power and have greater defense, it also allows him to hit Logia Devil Fruit users, who basically can become an element, who are normally impervious to normal physical attack. This allows them to hurt them. He also has Observation Haki, which, if I'm not mistaken, Observation Haki is essentially kind of like his, awareness perception, and even allows him a little bit of precognition. Basically, he has complete awareness of his surroundings, complete knowledge, and he can pretty much just dodge on command. Conqueror's Haki pretty much allows you to impart or enforce your will onto others and basically kind of, make them submit to you. Against weaker opponents, he can pretty much just knock down an entire, squadron of soldiers or Marines. Not true Marines, but, soldiers. And with stronger opponents, it's more of like a contest of wills and can weaken other individuals. But Luffy's biggest techniques or biggest abilities come from his Devil Fruit, the Gomu Gomu no Mi, or the Gum Gum Fruit, which turned him into a rubber man. So with this fruit, he can pretty much stretch his entire body as far as he wants. Granted, he usually needs momentum or just some physical force to it. He can't just go boom. He can't Mr. Fantastic or Plastic Man, if you will, where he just wham. No, he does need he kind of can, but he does need momentum usually. At least, throws his fist like that. But because he's rubber, he's pretty much impervious to most physical attacks. Like most concussive forces, blunt force trauma. He just lets that slide off, water off a duck's back kind of thing. He just lets that happen and keeps going. He is still vulnerable to blades, though, because rubber isn't immune to being cut. Though he's got a higher resistance to it. He's got a perfect installation against electricity as well, because he's rubber. He also is able to use specific abilities in conjunction with, or specific techniques in conjunction with his Devil Fruit. Gears, as they're called. The gear second gear, if you will. Causes him to pump his blood, enlarge his blood vessels, and pump his blood faster and harder, which basically enables him to just move at faster, higher speeds, stronger striking forces, enhances his physicality. The effect that this gives him is usually like steam coming off him, and kind of like a shiny skin. Gear 3, basically, he just inflates his arms and bodies. Right? His arms, his body, just huge, massive, just going giant monster, forces of giant monster fists and feet, and his giant striking force with it. Now he can enhance all of this with Armament Haki as well to make his strikes even more powerful, which goes actually into Gear 4, which has two different forms: Bound Man and Snake Man. Bound Man is basically what he does is he uses Armament Haki, fights stuff, inflates his body, and he basically takes on this black armored form. Which is used for offense and defense and speed and and power as well. The Bound Man is definitely more the power defensive form. He's very round and he starts bouncing around. He can basically just launch himself like a missile. The Snake Man is a more condensed, more lithe fighting form, which is not truly lithe, but a more condensed fighting form, which allows him to strike at greater speeds and forces, but it does sacrifice a bit of his defense. Luffy is still, though, one of the strongest characters in the series, capable of even partially going toe-to-toe with Kaido, who is one of the strongest characters in the series by far. A guy who can turn into a dragon who is nearly invulnerable. But he does suffer from some weaknesses. Hunger. He cannot swim. His Devil Fruit basically means he has no protection for water. He's still been beaten many times. Um, so Plastic Man, his actual name. Give me 1 second here for Plastic Man, real quick. Plastic Man's real name, if you will, is where is Plastic Man? Oh, Patrick O'Brien. Now, Patrick O'Brien, like so many others, got involved in an accident. Now, what this actually did was basically give him a malleable physiology. It affected his body on a molecular level. He exists basically in a state, in a fluid state, neither solid nor liquid. He has complete control over his molecular structure. His malleable physiology allows him to extend his body, like Mr. Fantastic style, unknown lengths, size alterations, shrinking down to like the size of a let's see here, a few inches tall or the size of a skyscraper, shape shifting, disguising himself, or changing the form of his body, super agility. The stretching powers grant him heightened abilities. Superhuman strength. He can alter his strength by growing or adding more muscle. He can easily throw a shark 1,400 pounds a few yards away. Invulnerability. He's extraordinary augmented durability. He can withstand corrosives, punctures, concussives without sustaining any injury, although it can momentarily stun him. He's resistant to high-velocity impacts that would kill an ordinary person, resistant to blasts from energy weapons, and is completely bulletproof. His body mass can be dispersed, but for all inherent purposes, he's invulnerable. He does have regeneration. When he is hurt, he can regenerate and or assimilate lost and damaged tissue, although it does take a long time. It's faster than a normal human. He's got telepathic immunity, doesn't matter here. Immortality, he does not appear to age. 3,000 years later, he survived as little more than crumbs on the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. And 3,000 years later, in the JLA story Obsidian Age, he was still an active superhero. Ultrasonic detection wouldn't matter here. Rubber organs. His organs are made of rubber, and he can shift them around. His brain doesn't keep his brain in his head, which allows him to survive decapitation. Really, contortionism, skilled thief, master detective, and some basic hand-to-hand skill. His vulnerability, though, he does have vulnerability to extreme heat and vulnerability to chemical solvents. He loses integrity when exposed to solvents such as acetone. So, here's the weird thing. In terms of pure destructive nature, Luffy, I think, actually really has the edge here. But in terms of actual, like, who is going to win this fight, that, frankly, I think is a much harder question to really factor in, because both these guys have rubber physiologies to a degree, except Plastic Man's isn't so much rubber as he exists in a state of neither liquid nor solid. He's in just a continual state of, not fluidity. This basically allows him to survive much more than Luffy can, because whereas Luffy can pretty much take the majority of physical strikes, blades, all that, or physical strikes to some degree, concussive forces, he has a limit. Blades will still hurt Luffy. He is a bit of an insulator, but he can, and even with Kaido was still able to overwhelm his Goma powers and just beat him down. Plastic Man doesn't have that weakness. I think that's where the problem for Luffy here is really going to lie, is that he ultimately doesn't have anything to put Plastic Man down in his arsenal. In fact, you could actually say the telepathic immunity does make him immune to something like Conqueror's Haki, which wouldn't be able to, overwhelm them, because his mind is no longer organic. It's untouchable by telepathy by most standards. And Conqueror's Haki could qualify as that. So really, I think this is just going to be a freaking long battle of attrition. I think that's what it's going to come down to. Luffy might be the aggressor, although Plastic Man has been depicted as being somewhat arrogant of his own, or on his own. So it is a bit difficult to say, to be sure. And no matter what, Luffy just doesn't have a technique in his arsenal that would put Plastic Man down. He doesn't have any energy techniques that would allow him or to hurt him. And even then, energy blasts, he's invulnerable to such things. He's highly resistant to energy blasts and energy weapons. At least basic energy weapons. A powerful enough energy weapon could exist to put him down, but Luffy doesn't have anything like that. So it just comes down to Luffy's base physical skills, add on to his armor and Haki, and add on to his gears. And none of them would ultimately be able, I think, to put Plastic Man down. Whereas Plastic Man, I think, could ultimately just wrap over and suffocate Luffy if he wanted to. So, ultimately, in my opinion, I think it's Plastic Man who takes this fight. Luffy would definitely try, but, he wouldn't be able to do it. It's the same problem that I found with Mr. Fantastic and Luffy, is that Luffy doesn't have anything to put down Mr. Fantastic, just like he doesn't have anything to put down Plastic Man. So ultimately, my money is on Plastic Man. Unfortunately, Luffy just doesn't have anything to really go up against. This guy's kind of an antithesis character to Luffy in many ways. But it is just my opinion. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Maybe you think Luffy can totally beat Plastic Man. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Till then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Hit that bell if you want to be notified. This is pre-recorded on Thursday, so I will be doing my Zombie October video. Plus, we're going to go see Candyman, me and my girlfriend tonight. I'll probably review for that up on Friday, so keep your eyes up for that. Till then, thanks for watching. See you later.